Thank you guys for being here. So today is the fourth episode of Coffee with Impetus, where we just drink coffee and talk a lot of smack. Today we have John Thompson and our special guest Devynn Thompson, who is behind the scenes with Beyond the Service, Plum God Apparel, and Thompson Family Plumbing. So for those of you who don't know about them, they will again reintroduce themselves of who they are.
I am John Thompson, the mad mind man of OG Plum God, Thompson Family Plumbing, Plum God Apparel, and also Beyond the Service, along with a couple other crazy-minded people.
Hey, Devynn Thompson. I'm the wife of John Thompson. Really excited to be here. Thank you, Terrence, for inviting me on so John and I can talk about our crazy life and being passionate, blue-collar people.
So some guys are having some glitches, but I think those kinks will work out soon because I can hear you guys on mine. So, because their video is a little bit behind, so then they'll be catching up afterwards. But let's go to the next thing about what you guys do. So tell us a little bit about what's your daily activities and what you do, John, and what Devynn does on her end to help you, or you guys help each other on each end.
Well, my daily activities are going to work. I mean, I have to be physical because that's just the way my mind is. If I'm not physical, what happens is I will lose my shit in the office, just walking around and just critiquing everything that everyone's doing, and it's not going to be a good thing for anybody and me. And I've learned my lesson in that way, to where I'm like, I got to run calls, I got to be on projects, I got to do stuff. And in the meantime, my mind is working on business strategy, new ideas, new imagery, and new visions for all of our brands. And Devynn is my implementer. And that's, I think, the only reason why our business has been so successful, our business is because of, we know our lanes, and we have definitely learned them in really shitty ways by messing each other up. So my lane is coming up with the ideas and the initial impact of how we're going to do things and set the initial motions in place. And Devynn's are to take them over, run with them, and implement and really narrow down exactly how it's going to work in our business.
That's pretty good. What about your side from what he's saying, Devynn?
John, he is a hyper creative type of person. He comes up with these great ideas and all these things that he wants to better, the trade community for everybody. And I'm always the person on the other end with the listening ear and the smile. Sometimes it's tears, but I always want to support my husband in anything that he does, and I've really learned to love the trade. I've learned to really just be, content with anything and everything that comes our way. I think that being a service provider, you have to be a very flexible type of person, and you have to learn to persevere through so many things that you probably never anticipated having to come across, in your life. My husband and I have learned, and I like the way that he said, we've learned to stay in our lane. We learned to stay in our lane from almost murdering each other and divorce and all these things, just because when you become a service provider, a small business owner, it's your everyday. It is you wake up and you're living and breathing, providing service and giving people a better experience. And you're trying to be as creative as possible to be better than everybody else or better than yourself. And my husband comes up with these amazing ideas, and I'm telling him cool, I'm still working on the other 10 you just gave me. But he keeps me stimulated, and that's what I need, because I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I'm capable of doing anything that he gives me, but I'm not capable of doing everything he gives me. So over time, I think he and I have kind of learned, delegation is really important, reaching out to staff members and stuff like that. And it's taken us a lot of time to start asking other people for help and trusting people to help as well.
That's awesome. It's good that you guys can work together as a team because it's hard to actually find that chemistry sometimes, even if it's like your partner or if it's somebody that is a close friend or even family of yours. So being able to take on those endeavors together and those tasks together is phenomenal.
It's not easy. I mean, John and I have gone through to marriage counseling over, the past 6.5 years of us having our business, because there's times where I'm like, you're not respecting my position for this. And it does create issues in our marriage. And a lot of people may think like, oh no, just keep it separate, but it's really not that simple. Like, it's really about building a stronger relationship between the two of us. And I'm not afraid to share real life experiences with people, because I know for a fact we're not the only people going through these issues, especially as a husband and wife, partnered couple within a business.
And you know what? And I think that's why, with Beyond the Service, we want to show you guys, how we argue and how we don't agree upon things, because we're not perfect. And it's great to have opposition in your business relationship so that you're creating something that truly is great. But at the same time, as a romantic relationship, that gets really hard when things get rocky with business decisions and we're not on the same page. So there comes times where we just got to be like, man, just let this shit go. Let's not talk about it for like a couple weeks. Let's not talk about business, or let's not talk about whatever, so that we can really love each other and give our family what it needs, because it's not an easy feat. And I know a lot of people, since we started Beyond the Service, is that they reach out to me and they're like, man, your guys' shit is exactly what I deal with every single day. And how do we do it? I'm like, we just got to keep rolling with the punches. We got to know that our spouses and our business partners are there for the long run, and trust each other, that we all have the best intent of the business in mind, every decision that we do.
And family at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome to hear. It's like, I'm glad you guys are pulling through all the time. It's because obviously we see it from your Instagram. We see it from Devynn's Instagram. You guys are definitely in love. You guys are definitely working hard at really pushing Thompson family and everything else you guys are doing, and giving back to the community, especially with Beyond the Service. I really like that aspect of it. I've watched a few episodes myself, and there's a lot of things that I can definitely agree on of what you have to do when you guys are working together and building a business.
Thank you. It's not easy. I told him this morning, what did I say to you, John? I said, we have to keep practicing and telling ourselves that we can't keep making other people's problems our problems. So
right.
For us in our personal relationship, we'll like be fighting about all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not even mad at you. Like, nothing.
It's not even our problems. It's their problem.
We're fighting about something that has nothing to even do with our relationship. And, I last week I was on the Lady Pros podcast for House Call Pro, and a lot of the women had questions like, how do you find that balance between working with your husband and your relationship, your personal relationship? And I said, if your foundation is faulty, and we all know that being contractors, if the foundation is faulty, and if the relationship is faulty, everything else around you will be negative. Like, you have to really work hard at having a good relationship. And for John and I, it's a matter of giving each other personal time, like going out on dates. So we went on a date last night, and it was so great. And we it's just a great reminder that we love each other, and we really do want the same things. We just have to stop fighting about other people's problems. So including our customers' problems, or employees' problems, or coworker problems, and stuff like that. So
I remember that. I've seen it firsthand, even at shows.
Yeah, I know.
It's still funny though. I like it. I like that dynamics. If you don't have that dynamics and that drama, sometimes it's not really a relationship, I always say, or at least I feel like that. So let me know, how long have you guys actually been doing it, like doing the business and everything together? Since when?
It's been 6.5 years. So I got canned from my previous job 6.5 years ago, and we just hit the ground running. I took a week on my computer in Starbucks and just went haywire on shit. And while Devyn was with our newborn Reagan at the time, and I'm like, all right, I got to start running calls. Here we go. And Devyn slowly started picking up the things that I was doing that I needed help with. And then she just like took it and ran with it and just made it her own. And, you know, that's where I had to change things, because when I started my business, what I wanted to do is learn the business end of things. I wanted to learn payroll. I wanted to learn the stuff that I didn't already know. You know, I wanted to learn how to submit bills to these companies that owe me money. I wanted to do those things, but at the same time, I knew that I couldn't make money for the family and do that as well. And so Devynn took it over, and she really did a fantastic job. But it also at the same time hurt me, because that's the position that I wanted, but I knew that I had to bring the money in so that I can transform into something different. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'll come back to that at some point in time. But Devynn has just done such a great job. There's no way that I can even try to come close to doing what she's doing, you know?
Sorry about that. So was it even like a conversation about you guys saying, hey, let's do it together? Or was it more so,
no,
you know, Devynn just took that shit on and she just straight shot for it?
She just took it, man. We didn't even talk about it. She just started doing it. And that's one thing that my wife is so amazing at is, and we argue about this all the time. I'm like, I didn't ask you to do this, you know? I'm not talking about Thompson Family Plumbing or our businesses. I'm just talking about little things. She just does things for me without asking. And I'm so lucky to have a wife that just kicks ass and does these things that our family needs to survive without me begging for it, you know? And not everyone is in that same boat. And I feel like marriages and spouses both need to understand from both ends that the man or the woman or whoever's bringing in the money needs to make that money, and they got to be supported. And you have to learn how to support that person, the people that are bringing in the bread. And how are you going to contribute to that money coming into the household?
You want a successful man, honey? You better be prepared to have a busy man. I'm sorry. I hear chicks all the time crying like, my husband's working too much. I never see him. I'm sorry, but you're not crying when he's bringing home that Louis for you, honey. Like,
what are you doing to help that situation?
Yeah. I mean, you have to understand that nobody is going to have your back when shit hits the fan. And going back to when we started our business and stuff like that, I had a management background. So for me, it was kind of natural just to kind of jump up and do it because I already knew what had to be done. And, I have this analogy that having a business and having employees is kind of like playing chess. You got to put your right players in the right places. People have great strengths and people have weaknesses, just like your chess pieces, right?
Yep.
You have to really key into those strengths of those people and move your players to the right place so that you're winning at that game of life. If you're not keying into the great things, then all you're doing is looking at the negatives and you're going to lose.
So when you are putting people, let's say just the chess pieces you're talking about their strengths and their weaknesses, do you ever try to build them or their weaknesses, or are you kind of the business that, double down and triple down on those strengths to kind of further that business or the asset itself?
We have to do both, and it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about ideas, implementation, or actual service that we're providing for a customer. So what do you want to know?
What I want to know? I'm honestly not sure what I want to know myself.
So on business and services and everything, we try and hit it. If we don't know it, we try and learn it. But there are some services that we're like, you know what, we're done doing it. And you have to learn what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and where you can be in that market and where you can't. And it's okay to say that, hey, this is not what I'm going to do. Like, we've had tons of people like, hey, I'm building a new house. Like, come do my plumbing. You're the only company that I want. I'm like, how do you know that? I've never done it before. I don't do that service. That's not what Thompson Family Plumbing does. So have I had a lot of opportunities to go into new construction? Hell yeah. And have I done a few projects? Hell yeah. Have I done a good job at them? Hell yeah. I'm a plumber. I can get anything done. But did I make decent money on it? Hell no.
Yeah, I think at that point it also becomes like you have to see which point that you want to actually make money on, what you guys are best at as a business altogether, to kind of bring in the money, actually, because
And
even
that
for us,
also
we talk
depends
about.
on, yeah,
So
that also depends on how you pay your employees too, your plumbers.
Well, going back
You know,
to Clarence's question, I think the key point is continuing education for your staff. If you see an employee that really is great at communication, but they're not really good on their technical side, then every time you see a free training webinar from any of your merchants and stuff, I get emails all day long like, hey, join us for this Zoom meeting, especially now that we're going through the coronavirus.
yeah,
I'm sure you guys are seeing emails all day long. I got an email 2 weeks ago from Noritz. We love Noritz tankless water heaters. We're not sponsored by them, nothing like that, nothing weird. Milwaukee, I love Milwaukee. I just want to support businesses that really do care about people. So I want to put that out there. But we got an email from Noritz saying, log in for our webinar. We're doing training on the Easy TR40 unit. Cool. How many technicians can I sign up for free for continuing education? But I'll be like, hey, this guy really doesn't know tankless. Hey, let's schedule him this morning. So we're training him on tankless. I think that if you want your employees to be better, you have to be better. You have to step up, because if you're not stepping up and showing these people that you care, do you think they're really going to care about your company? No.
100%.
You need to invest back into them if you expect them to invest back into you.
You have to lead it by example.
Exactly. Another thing is positive reinforcement. Give them positivity. Hey, you did great on this today. Thank you. Please and thank you goes so far. You have to be a human being. You can never lose the perspective of being the employer, the person that's there trying to help you. So positive reinforcement for me is huge as well.
That's awesome. So the next thing I actually want to touch on is the fact that we've already heard how you guys are working together to build your dream, but how far off are you guys really from that dream, and what do you guys want to come of it in the near future? Like, are you almost at your peak, or do you think there's more that you guys want to grow, or
But
what more do you want?
but is this our dream?
Yes, but
John,
is it your dream?
John and I have, I think, reached our potential as being business partners together. John has great aspirations for things for himself. I have aspirations for things within, for myself. So I'll let John go and talk about his aspirations and his dreams at this point.
Well, I think anybody's ultimate dream is how, and it should be, how am I going to get to retirement faster? How am I going to streamline my retirement faster and more successful and seamlessly? So that's my ultimate goal. I mean, me being a plumber and opening Thompson Family Plumbing, it wasn't for the culture. It wasn't for, the brand recognition or creating a legacy to me. It was about how am I going to make money to provide for my family and retire. And I'm going to bring Memorial Day into it and be, these people fought for our freedoms, and those freedoms were to start a company, to be able to write off your losses and earn a wage to become rich, and be broke if you can't work for it. And it's not anybody else's responsibility to build those things up but yourself. So my vision has always been to make the most amount of money as I possibly can for my family and retire as fast as I possibly can. And those things move way beyond Thompson Family Plumbing. And I believe you put all your eggs in one basket, you have a very high chance to one day lose it all. So that's not my vision. My ultimate vision is to do something way bigger, maybe not better than Thompson Family Plumbing, because Thompson Family Plumbing has been an amazing platform for to showcase an amazing business that can be profitable. It can be a legacy in its own. It can be, honestly, I couldn't tell you the things that we've done wrong with Thompson Family Plumbing, except employment.
I can't get so much
I know.
fix. We're not.
I know there's plenty of things that we did wrong, but what I'm saying is that we did a lot of really amazing things that even the big box companies, they're not even doing. And I'm proud of those things. I'm proud of the ideas and the things that we've been able to put into our business structures and stuff like that. But honestly, our visions, my business visions, are bigger than what Devynn and I can do. They're bigger than just the two of us. We are great in our lanes, but there's other lanes that need to be fulfilled. And in order for me to be fulfilled in my mind on what our business should be, so there's a lot of things coming down the pipe here, and I'm not going to talk about them right this moment. But Thompson Family Plumbing isn't the end game for me, and it's not for Devynn either. And Devynn she'll share with you what she wants to do.
So my dream or my goal would to be a contracting business consultant. I would love to go into shops, kind of review their operations, their day-to-day, and help them build their businesses back to what it was. Make your business great again. Like, I would love to do something like that. I geek out over policies and paperwork and implementations and systems and processes and automation and all those things. Like, that's where I love to be. And I would love nothing more but to help people that are having a hard time getting a hold of their staff, or having a hard time maybe rebranding their name. Whatever the issues that they're having, I would love to be a part and share maybe my input or my experience to help them rebuild their business or start a business or whatever it is that they would love to do, because I love the trades. And I know that a lot of tradesmen didn't go to business school, and a lot of them are technicians and they have this big dream. So if I can help them in any way by giving them my knowledge, my experience, or my opinion to start a business, I would love to do that. So that's what I would like to do.
That's pretty awesome. That's actually a type of aspiration I had, or what I kind of want to do in the future as well.
Cool.
Because I love the business aspect of, just running a business, marketing for a business, growing a business. And, it always gives me goosebumps listening to stories of how a business is built, and at the same time, seeing how they grow itself. So that runs
I think you have a really great story, Terrence. I loved hearing your story.
I would love telling it one day, but today is about you guys. So I know that I will be on your show sometime with Beyond the Service, and and I think we are setting that up in the near future. And when that happens, I would love to tell my story, and I would love to, touch some ground on where I am at, what I want to do. But let's make it your day for now, because you guys are awesome guests, and I'm pretty sure everybody here wants to know more about you guys. So for me, looking at Instagram, everything I've seen so far, because I honestly didn't even know John existed until we actually went to Japan together. So that was the best thing that ever happened to me on Instagram, being able to connect with the community and, see people like John, see people like Ryan from World Plumbers, Art, Life of Maintenance Plumber, the other John, and the other guys, I just can't name them right on top of my head. But all of them were great people, especially the Japanese plumber and Shinji. Dude, they were awesome. But anyway, where I'm trying to get to, the main point was, looking online, I know you guys do run almost three businesses, or even four at once. But from what I can count is you guys have Beyond the Service. It's not really a business, but that's something you guys do talk about, the business talk, how to run a business, how to start a business, anything that's business related. But you guys also have something called Plum God Apparel. And on the third of all, from what I know, you guys have Thompson Family Plumbing. So, looking at all three of these things, from what I can see, I'm just curious, how does that all jive together? And, how do you eat up so much when there's so much on your plate? Does it ever get too intense for you guys? Do you ever think that, oh man, like, we can't do it all, or you just try to do it whatever you can every day?
Well, first off, anything that you do can be a business, and it should be a business, because you should be able to, and that's the American dream that I really wanted to get into about the Memorial Day thing, is that we have a right to make anything a business and write off these things that we're investing money into to gain capital. And Beyond Service is one of those things, but sorry, what was the original question? I screwed that up.
I just hit raise my hand because I'm like, what are you talking about right now?
Well, I was trying to get to the point, but then I forgot the point,
You scrolled it so hard, man.
The point and the question was, like, how do you jive together with running all three things at once sometimes? And do you ever how do you allot that time to each one? Do you guys have a business plan saying, hey, let's focus on Plum God Apparel today, let's focus on Beyond the Service, How does
That's
that all
it.
drive together?
Just depends on whatever our brain's telling us, really.
Okay, no, that's not true.
For me,
It's called you wake up at 5:30 a.m. You review all 6 of your email inboxes. By 6 a.m., you're at the gym. By 7:30, you're home taking a shower, helping your kids get ready for school, all that stuff. You're at the office by 9 a.m. It's all about setting up systems and processes. Anything is possible. You just have to allocate the time. If you want to do something, start it and then delegate the time to somebody else to take it over for you. It's that easy.
So then who's officially running, let's say, Plum God Apparel right now? Do you do it together, or is Devin mainly the one that's, kind of going through the orders? And
no, it's not me at all.
I've done
It's all
everything.
my life.
All the designs, the ordering, the printing, the shipping, the marketing, everything.
wow.
I work with the designs. That's it. That's all I do.
Sometimes.
Well,
Well, no,
I approve designs. Okay, I approve designs.
We're like, okay, here's like the concept we want. We send it to our design guy, and John does give the official stamp, like, I want this one, I don't want that one. So that is true. Right now, we had closed the shipping for Plum God Apparel effective of March, only because I'm in Arizona. We've been quarantined and our warehouse is in California. So I haven't been there. We let go a lot of our staff at the time during quarantine. So I knew if I had to cut something and focus more on my family, it was going to be the apparel company. The apparel company, it's not a revenue generator. It's mostly because we wanted to come up with a clothing idea for people to wear and be proud of what they do.
Right.
And we've seen so many other people come up with something very similar. And it's about, being prideful. I'm a plumber. I take pride in my trade. I support my plumbing community, stuff like that. And then people around town will be like, hey, what does that mean? Oh, you're a plumber? Oh, that's cool. I have this toilet that won't stop leaking. It won't stop running. I can hear it in the middle of the night. You'd be like, oh, must be your flapper. So then you're going to, you get busy.
Just so everybody knows that Plum God Apparel is basically a nonprofit organization, but it doesn't have the legal papers. Our apparel company makes $0. We just do it because people want some cool stuff to wear as a plumber or something like that. So that's the reason why we do it, because people ask for stuff. So we wanted to put it out there so that they can have it. We've never even made one payroll payment to anybody or even made any profit, period. So
is that completely closed now, or can I still grab anything from Plum God Apparel?
I actually grabbed all the stickers. Sorry. I grabbed all the stickers when we were home last week, and I was like, I'm just going to start shipping these to people. We have all these really great stuff. So I got to open it back up. But it's a matter of, at that time, the world was changing. And we
didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew that I had to, physically be with my husband in Arizona. Normally, most people may not know this. We live separately. I live in California full-time. John lives in Arizona full-time.
Actually.
We haven't, lived together full-time in over a year. When we decided to open our shop in Arizona, he moved out to Arizona and he's been here since last May, so over a year. But when the COVID-19 thing started hitting in March, John had called me and said, shit's getting really weird. Our family needs to be together. So he drove out, picked us up, and the dogs, and we've been out here full-time since. And, I'm grateful for technology and automation and systems that we've put place in our business, because now I can work remotely. I'm still able to do payroll and accounting, everything from another state now. So it's been a blessing.
So can we talk a little bit about business, Terrence?
Sure.
From an angle. So without having processes and procedures and real business money management, your business can't make it through something like this without money in the bank and without taking money from somebody else in order to get you through these situations. So it's all about setting up your business structure properly. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I would say for Devin and I mean, we're still trying to come up with the best ways to do these things. And you know what? The older I get with this business, the more a franchise looks good to me. And the reason why is because you have the culture to help support your visions and their visions at the same time. And you guys can talk about things, strategize about things, and they have answers of situations that you've been through or that you're going through right now, and vice versa. So there's a tight-knit community that doesn't have to be public. And so, but with our plumbing community, like you, Terrence, you know, I've reached out to you with ideas. You've reached out to me with ideas. And what's awesome is that we can talk about those things. We're not direct competitors. We're not, you know, and I love to give you anything that I have, and you love to give me anything that you have. And I think that in a roundabout way, this social media platforms have really given us a way to help talk about business. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start Beyond the Service with Mechanical Hub, is to help give that support for businesses too. And that's one reason why Devynn wants to start her consulting business, is because people need help with these tough decisions. And that's the hardest part about a growing business, and seeing a vision of where these things are going to go and how much money am I going to need to get there? How much should I buy this piece of equipment? Is it going to make sense? Is it not going to make sense? You know, when we bought our first or our only big tow behind jetter, you know, Devynn was like, hey, you better sell a contract to pay for it within 3 years. And I'm like, all right, I'll sell a contract today that's going to pay for it in 3 years. I made him sign the contract, and we ordered it the next day. You know, wow. So that is a business team effort right there.
Yeah,
that's we need something. Okay, how are you going to pay for it, John? This is how I'm going to pay for it. Okay, cool, let's do it. Solid plan, right?
I think it's huge what you're talking about when you're talking about businesses, and, you know, really, especially laying a foundation. And I think, you know, I say this a lot, but not like, I personally like COVID for what it's happening, not for people dying, not for people dying. Don't get me wrong.
I get it.
I really like the business aspect of it, and I really like the life aspect of it at the same time, because it kind of pulls you back and really grounds you to let you know how your business is actually doing when it meets something like that. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be a pandemic sometimes, right? It could be like a crash in the market. It could be, you know, a death of somebody that you love or whatever. Like, something can hit you in drastic ways where it can change your business. And without a foundation that you guys built, or if for what we've built, we wouldn't be able to last through that. And, you know, we see a lot of businesses right now, especially in Vancouver, because we're one of the most expensive cities in the world. What's happened with our end is that these businesses are actually going out of business because of the foundation that they've built, or the things that they've incurred in debt, whatever it could be, right? And those are the things that why I say, you know, COVID is kind of good at the same time, because one, it talks about business foundation, and two, it kind of makes you know that, and really brings you back to what's important to your life. For me personally, like, I found out that ever since COVID happened, like, I haven't been out. I haven't seen a lot of my friends. We contact through either games or go online and WhatsApp whatsoever. But when you actually go with your friends for that first time again, because everything starts clearing out, you kind of find out that, you know, how important those moments are to you, not only business-wise, but, you know, life-wise.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So that has been an interesting thing, and I've always wanted to say it, but I don't want people to take me the wrong way, because obviously that shit where people is dying is off the hook. It's terrible.
No, absolutely not. But I do think that it gives everybody perspective, and it makes people really take a step back and assess their true balance sheet. What is my business worth? What kind of debt do I have in my business? Am I able to stay afloat? If I'm not, like, when's the last time I checked my budget? Stuff like that. You know, people really do need to understand that business isn't just like, I'm going to roll the dice and see where shit lands. You know, you have to plan for these things, unfortunately. And COVID-19 has been something very serious and scary for a lot of businesses. But I do think it's a good time for people to assess changes that they may need to make.
Definitely. For today's show, we're actually going to run a bit longer because I love talking to you guys. I said 20 to 30 minutes, but I think it's kind of hard when we have two guests on the show. But let's move on to talking more about Beyond the Service, where you guys do talk a lot about business. because what Devin inspires to do is to educate a lot of people on the business end. And I think from John's side, on the aspect of John's side, he goes on more to talking about the trade and what should be done and what shouldn't be done. And I think that's the amazing side of it, because that's, you guys are like two separate things of what I want to do all together, right? Because I want to do the business side, but at the same time, I really want to change the perspective of trades, because for the longest time on our end, people always think we're just tradesmen. But, talk about the business end with John is just like, nobody ever understands what an overhead really costs to be a plumbing business, because we got vans, we got our equipment, we're talking about the rigid cameras. It doesn't have to be rigid camera, but I'm just saying, because I have that equipment, like we're talking about like thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands, 30,000, $50,000 of equipment. But when we give these quotations to all these customers and clients, they always think we're trying to rip them off. So, I like what you guys are doing, and it means a lot to me, because at the same time, it's always the message that we want to put out front to all, not only for our clients, but for the people working the trade, that one, you can't undercut, and two, there's a reason why we're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so with Beyond the Service, we try and look at things from three different perspectives: from the owner's perspective, from the employee's perspective, and the consumers. So that is the angles that we're trying to meet in the middle with in every episode. And what you guys have seen so far with Beyond the Service, and what we've done so far with Beyond the Service, is mainly the mindset of starting a business and working for a small business, trying to figure shit out, consuming from a small business, trying to figure stuff out. And, we're actually going to have a whole new series coming out of Beyond the Service that's really going to talk about the hardcore stuff that's happening. So we pre-produced all of these episodes in a couple weeks that you guys have seen. And now we've seen all the pros and the cons of how we've been doing things. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to make it better, because that's just what we do. We want it more informative. We want it more action. We want more everything, more relatability in every way. So we're game planning on how to make it even a better show, and for viewers to want to learn and hear different perspectives and analyze things just a little bit differently from maybe from a consumer's point of view, because a lot of business owners, they don't want to hear it, and it's like, and if for some reason you want to listen to me and I can tell you maybe their perspective on why they're actually wanting what they actually bought, and you can't understand that, and I can bring it to layman's terms, maybe I can help your business grow a little bit more. But Devin, what's your thoughts on all that?
I don't even know what the original question was. Sorry.
It's all good. I think we got lost in translation, because sometimes our minds are just everywhere, because we have so many ideas going on at once.
I keep trying to go back. The question was?
Question was mainly about Beyond the Service and what you guys talk about, right, on the aspect of business and on the aspect of what you want to trade, kind of change within the trade, and the perspectives of what John's talking about, where you have the employee, you have the employer, and the client's perspective altogether.
So I think that being a blue collar person, you really get a bad rap. People think you're uneducated, you're trashy, you're stupid. People think that they can be disrespectful to you. I don't know about you guys, but we've really encountered a huge amount of disrespect providing service to people's homes and businesses. And it's just absolutely crazy to me to see the way that sometimes we're treated. For me, especially with COVID, and I really want to make this very, very clear, I would never want to disrespect any first responder, military person, anything like that, because they are absolutely on the front lines protecting our health and safety every single day. However, people forget that the tradesmen are there also protecting the health and safety of their lives.
If you got no hot water, you can't wash your hands.
Yeah, I mean, come on, so it's really, I've seen it firsthand in our own business. I've seen it firsthand just having conversations with my girlfriends complaining about, this service provider or whatever. And I feel like it's really important that all of us kind of step up together and really educate our friends and family about how important blue collar and our infrastructure truly is to our well-being and our functionality of our daily lives.
Just so you know, everybody, the city of Hesperia wanted her to be the mayor, and we declined.
That would have been awesome.
Not true.
Devynn
I'm
for
too
mayor.
ratchet. I'm too ratchet for mayor life. But I really, for us, I really wanted to give all of us a platform to show people that we do need to be respected. And yes, it may have taken me 20 minutes to repipe this little manifold section and I'm going to charge you $325, but it took me 20 years to learn to do that shit in 20 minutes for you. People have to understand that there is so much time and sacrifice invested in each of these services that it's about time that people start respecting us for the true valued human being that we are, to reinstate water to their home. That all we're trying to do is to help them. So Beyond the Service kind of came up with the idea of establishing a stronger community within the blue collar community, and also helping people in their businesses. How do you handle those situations when your customer's upset about that bill for $325 for 20 minutes? How are you handling that? We all need to go and group together and help each other out through this situation, because the last thing that we ever grew up to be was to say, we're going to be scamming people. That's absolutely
nobody
not.
wakes up like that.
No. I want to go and just straight scam people, and I'm going to learn how to solder so I can scam. Like, it's really important that people understand that all we want to do is to help them and make a living just like anybody else, working and doing anything else that they're doing.
We really want to change the perspective that, hey, you're going to put this $320 in your pocket right now and just go, buy a new iPhone or whatever. They need to understand that, hey, I have a van to pay for.
Yeah.
Those parts, you might see the direct cost online, but that's not how much it actually costs to go pick up that stuff and bring it to your house.
Not to mention the many years of
all of these things. I get a lot of people like, hey, my mechanic doesn't even charge me that much. I'm like, yeah, but you brought your equipment to the mechanic.
Not true.
But they do charge you that much or more. Hey, why don't you bring me your faucet? I'll fix my faucet in the shop, and then you can take it home and reinstall it yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want a discount? I'll give you a discount.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I was driving around town. My girlfriend was here, and John was sending me boat parts that we had to go try and find. And we're driving around town, and we go into this boat shop, and they said their labor is $350 an hour. And I'm like, if we posted $350 an hour for labor, our customers would tear us a new asshole and say, like, how dare you? I'm like, and these people are straight towing their boat to their shop. We are getting in our vehicles and driving to their homes in the middle of a pandemic with the possible exposure risk. We are going into their houses happily to say, where's the shitter? It's time that we start to get respected for what we're doing for people. So that's why John and I, being so passionate, like, we're going to start this series Beyond the Surface, and hopefully bring a better sense of understanding and respect for all of us that are dealing with this day to day.
You guys make more money than a lawyer. Yeah, we do, because all they have for expenses is a cell phone, a laptop, a printer, and paper.
And a super expensive place in downtown.
I'm sure they have like liability.
Right, Terrence.
That's it. Honestly, you're literally paying a lawyer half the time. Like, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but a lot of their overhead is their office that's in the downtown,
right,
the highest building that looks like it's made out of diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I want an office made of diamonds.
Your laptop is already there. But
yes, it is. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to pull it back to Instagram a bit, because I do know you guys from Instagram, and it's been a great ride. I've went down the list on John's pictures, and I really want to share it to see what you guys can say about it. So I'm going to show it to the viewers over here in a quick sec. So I sent you guys the pictures as well. I think it'll pop out on Twitch in a bit, because there is always a delayed feedback from Twitch. But this is a picture probably from, I believe, either 2014 or 2015, where John actually has hair. And he didn't have his mustache.
Oh, baby. I can't wait to see it.
Probably will take you two a little bit until it pops up. I don't know on Twitch, but I sent it to you guys both on your phones, so maybe...
Did you text it to me, Terrence?
Yeah, I texted to you, and I texted to John, I believe. Let's see.
Oh, hold on.
The delay is crazy on it. I actually think that today was a lot more viewers than anything, and kind of pulled it out a bit.
I can't see it.
I know you sent it to me somewhere. Oh, you sent it to me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up here. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
I can't see that.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's.
Guess what? Can you see it?
Oh, she can see that. I can see it very clearly.
Oh my gosh. Where are we? Oh,
So
that's a great, yeah.
this is telling our future. Okay. So this was Devynn and I 5 years ago in Lake Havasu, where we're living currently right this second.
Almost 5 years ago today. This was May 23rd, 2015.
Really? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to that. So
It's manifest destiny, baby.
This was almost 2 years after we started our business.
and
look at my hair going.
for your business, was it because of stress that you wanted to grow a beard, or I mean a mustache, or what was it? What hit you that all of a sudden you think that I need that beard?
Actually, I think that I had
There's
just
mustache.
shaved off my mustache because I used to shave it off once a year and chase my kids around the house.
That sounds weird.
So I stopped doing that. And so I've had this one for about 4 years, maybe 5 years. I don't know. But yeah, man, stress will destroy anybody in many more ways than once. One, I probably look like I'm 40. I'm 36. Have zero hair on the top of my head.
Hey, you're still sexy to me.
And I'm getting gray hairs in my mustache now. Yeah.
Those look like a good time. Where were you guys here? You say Manifest Destiny? Was that like a Vesta4 or what is it?
So no. I think we're in the channel or something there.
Yeah.
But manifest destiny, meaning like we planted the seed as far as our future then. And I actually remember that trip, which is kind of funny. I remember like Googling plumbing companies out here at that time and like reading all the reviews and looking at their website. And I was like, there's not very many plumbing companies out here. Like, I wonder what the market would be like how many people live out there? Like, what's the difference between homeowners versus like full-time homeowners versus like vacationers? Like, I remember having that conversation with you, John. Do you remember that?
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, when you guys look, when you start wanting to do your business, you need to understand your market. And your market means how you're going to advertise yourself to the people that live in that marketplace, you know? So ethnicity definitely plays a factor. Age plays a factor on how you're going to get it out there and communicate those things to your customers, and how you're going to implement things in your business. So, you know, learning those things in your marketplace is a very important business move. And for us, we knew that this was a retirement community. People want things done and they want it done now. And we're down with that. So that's one reason why we started our second location out here. We had plans for other locations too. It may or may not happen. I don't know. But, you know, you got to study your market. And this was the first market we actually really studied. And we're like, you know what? We can rule this area. And I'm really excited about being here because my clientele, my customers, they love me and they love our brand and how we do things, because no one else is a paperless company out here. No one else sends text messages saying that we're coming out to the property. They love that we're sending a picture to them about the servicing technician coming out to the house. They love the follow-up phone calls. They love the reviews, suggestions that we give to them. All of these things. It's something brand new to the entire market. And that's something you need to think about when you're going into a market on how you're going to structure your business. Is that already there in that marketplace or not? And if it's not, is this the best place for you? Is there somewhere that is lacking this stuff that you can go to a different area and move and just rule that industry over there? So those are things that you want to think about as far as branching out to new areas, or even starting your company initially. If we started our company initially in the area that I actually learned plumbing, I'm not sure that I would even be in business still.